What is up, Huddle fam? It is Todd here. It is Martin Luther King Jr. Day, and so I hope that you were celebrating that appropriately. I'm in a different room. For those of you who don't know, I am actually in the state of Texas. We bought our retirement home, and I'm on sabbatical for the next couple of months. I'm on sabbatical through the end of February. And then I'm going to be splitting my time back and forth between Texas and California. But I got a little bit of a new setup. I'm in a different room than I've ever been in before. And so, hey, as you're logging in, I see people are coming in right now. Just, hey, say hi. Let me know that you're here. And at any time through this short little broadcast, if you have questions about what I'm doing, feel free to drop them in the comment section, and that would be great. So a few weeks ago, I put in the Church Playbook Academy a brand new tool, a tool that I've been using for really the last decade or so. Hey, Pastor Chris Georges, how are you, sir? But a tool that I've been using for the last decade or so on how to get my church, my leadership team, my ministry leaders all on the same page, rowing in the same direction. And it's called the 90-Day Win Planner. And it's 90 days because, you know, the truth is, long gone are the days where you are planning 3 to 5 years out. And frankly, even 12 months is too far out for effective goal setting and planning, especially when it comes to leading an organization. Hey, Pastor Paul, or leading your church. And so really 90 days is the perfect amount of time to set a goal, get your leadership team on board, all pulling in the same direction. And so in the Church Playbook Academy, this is a part of your subscription, I'm not charging you extra for this, is your PDF version of the 90-Day Win Planner. You can, and here's the great thing, you can print it out a million times, it doesn't even matter. Okay, so what we have discussed in the previous couple of videos is this section right here. It says start here, and you're going to ask yourself this question. Now, by the way, this is an exercise that you can do by yourself. It is an exercise that's really done best when you've got some close ministry advisors, doing this with you, ministry leaders, elders, deacons, whatever, people that do buy into the vision of what your church is doing. Those are good people to have in the room. But it says start here. And it has you ask this question. What is one thing, one category of ministry that we as a church could focus on for the next 90 days that would, excuse me, either make our church bigger or better? Bigger or better. Because sometimes bigger is not better. Sometimes better is better, all right? But if you're really trying to grow, if you're really trying, especially these days in the days of COVID-19, COVID-20, COVID-2021, whatever, if you're looking at reaching your community in some fun and exciting and creative and unique ways, then bigger is what you need to focus on. But sometimes better is what you need to focus on. And so what category of ministry can we focus on as a church for the next 90 days that would make our church bigger or better? And so we talked about, hey, go ahead and pick one of these categories: worship, fellowship, discipleship, ministry, evangelism, children's ministry or youth ministry, administration or other. And honestly, other, you kind of got to throw it in there, but you really don't need it. But so you start there, you pick that ministry category that you and your church are going to focus on for the next 90 days. Now, like I said before, if you are full-time in your church and you've got an established ministry team, you might be able to get away with doing this process for 3 categories of ministry over the next 90 days. Okay? If you're part-time at your church, I really wouldn't encourage you to focus on more than 2. And if you're part-time or even volunteer, even if you're full-time, you can get away with focusing on one thing. There is power in focus and there is power in shared experience. So we've already talked about that. Then the next thing we had you do was on the back side of this sheet, I want you to write down as many actions that you can think of that would make blank better. Now, I'll have you know, even though I'm on sabbatical from my church, as an example, I just very quickly said, okay, children's ministry. And so on the back side of this sheet, I wrote down in 5 minutes a bunch of ideas that can make our children's ministry bigger or better. And here's the thing. We talked about this in the last video, that it's really not brainstorming. Sometimes brainstorming can push your ideas to the safe middle. Seth Godin, one of my favorite authors, talks about this thing called edgecraft, where you take a seemingly just a plain basic idea and you push it towards the cliff. And that's really where the remarkable ideas are found, is on the edge, not necessarily in safe middle. So I said, okay, for this just brief example, I'm going to take children's ministry as my ministry category. And then in 5 minutes, I wrote down, I don't know, a dozen ideas or so. And really, you want to take 10 minutes, 15 minutes. I have done this process for up to an hour with 7 or 8 people. In fact, I didn't have this tool created at the time. I gave everybody legal pads, and I sent them out of the room for an hour, and I said, hey, I want you to write down as many ideas as you possibly can. And then I had this giant 4x8 whiteboard on wheels, and I said, okay, here's what we're going to do. And I said, I'm gonna write down everybody's ideas on the whiteboard. And so I'm like, okay, you go first. And I wrote all of their ideas on the whiteboard. And then I said, okay, to the next person, now you go next. And any idea that was a duplicate, I might have put like a little check mark next to it, just to show everybody in the room that we're all kind of thinking along the same lines here. But I didn't write it up more than once. And so I got everybody's ideas up on the board. So you're mimicking that with the back side of this sheet. On the back side of the sheet, write down as many actions that you can think of that could make your, and in this case, I put children's ministry bigger or better. Okay? And so here are some don't judge me, okay? Because some of these ideas are just super silly. But here are some random ideas that can make our children's ministry bigger or better. I said, download, download Elevation children's worship videos off of YouTube. Okay. Form a worship team made up of teenagers, like from our student ministry. Hire a preschool staff or staffers to run our children's ministry, because they go to school for this. They're already doing it 5-6 days a week. A lot of these gals work for minimum wage, but they know what works. I'll tell you, the time that my children's ministry actually ran the best was when our church was still in Bible study format. We were renting a tiny little church from a charismatic church in town. And I said, we just need a worship center for the adults, and we need a space for the kids. I hired, for $20 a Sunday, Sunday school teachers Sunday school teachers that had already taught in our biggest and best churches in San Diego. And I said, hey, I want you just to bring the lesson that you've already taught today. I'll throw you $20. And a lot of these ladies had been doing children's ministry for decades. And they would bring crates of all of their own craft and art supplies that went with the Bible lessons. It was the best $20 I ever spent. And so, here, the same thought. Hire preschool staff to run our younger version of our kids ministry. Here's another one. Hire a freelance sports program director to run our older kids ministry. And the thinking behind that is this. 10-year-old boys are choosing what church families go to. So if you have a new family that comes to your church, they've got a 8, 9, 10, 11-year-old young man. Here's the thing. You could preach your guts out. Best sermon ever. Most Holy Spirit inspired led worship. If their 10-year-old son thinks your Sunday school sucks, guess what? Mom and dad is like, hey, we're going to go try another church. Okay, and so you really need to have something. Again, this is just an example, but you really need to have something that is going to make 10-year-old boys stick. Gals are way less picky than the boys are, okay? So here's another one. And again, these are silly ideas. Fill a vending machine full of free candy. Have clowns greet kids on their way in and out of Sunday school. Install a video game room. Partner with the church plant. So these church plants typically are younger in age. And you can do a trade. Hey, I know you guys need a place to meet, say on Sunday nights. If you'll run my children's ministry on Sunday morning, you can have the space on Sunday night. Let's see, another idea was, subscribe to Orange Curriculum. Here's the biggest issue I've had with children's directors. They love kids, which is what you want. And they will spend 80%, 90% of their week writing Sunday school curriculum. And it's like, no. I want 70 to 80% of your time engaged with the adult volunteers who are going to be teaching your Sunday school classes. There are people that are way better equipped that have already written the best curriculum. And so don't even worry about that. If you can read, you can lead. So here's the curriculum. And, you just lead our adult volunteers and love on our kids. Okay, so we've picked our initial ministry category. Then on the back side, we've written down, and again, you want 100 ideas. Okay, I just wrote down a dozen or so just to use this as an example. But on the back side, write down as many ideas as you can think of. Here's where it gets fun, okay? Now, it says start here, then we go to next, then we go then, okay? And again, you might want to download the 90-Day Win Planner. It's a part of your subscription in the Church Playbook Academy, just so you can follow along. But then it says this. In the brackets below, fill in the numbers of your top 16 ideas. So there's a couple of ways to do this. So you can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay? So you can number your ideas like that. And then in the brackets, you can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay? Now there's 16 brackets. So what you want to do is you want to take your top 16 ideas through 4 rounds of competition until you're only left with one idea. Now what I did is I didn't put numbers in here. I just kind of wrote a little abbreviation of what the idea was. And if I ever get lost, I can just look on the back of the sheet and find the idea and remember what I was thinking. Now, I'm telling you, this is the secret sauce of finding your best idea, finding the goal that your church ought to be pursuing for the next 90 days. It's this tournament to the death. And it's, for me, it's fun, but it's tough. I've had ministry leaders get into arguments over this, but that's how you know it's working. Because you and or your team have to work to figure out, if we were to take all of our resources and focus on this one thing for the next 90 days, what should it be? Okay, so here's what you do. On the back side of your sheet, okay, and again, I've got them numbered 1, 2, 3, is I write my first idea. And I don't write them down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. No. You write down 1 at the top left-hand corner, and then you come all the way down to the 8th slot and you write number 2. And then you come all the way back up and you write down your third idea, and you come all the way back down to the 7th bracket and write down your 4th idea. And you alternate 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now, the reason that you do that, and we talked about this in the last video, the idea, set a timer for 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 30 minutes, doesn't matter, and just write. Keep writing. And even if you don't know, like even if you have writer's block or idea block, you can still, hey, I don't know what to write. Until the next idea comes up and you write that down, okay? Now, when you get in the zone of writing, like for example, I said my first idea was download YouTube videos, Elevation Kids Worship. Okay, and you can either have that playing as kids walk into the room so that there's, you don't want your Sunday school rooms to feel like a library when kids walk in. Like, it should be fun. I'll tell you, I've read more books about how Walt Disney thought in terms of the kind of experience he wanted kids to have. See, it should be a sin to bore kids with the gospel. And so I want kids to think church equals fun so that they look forward to coming to church. And as they get older and they mature, they realize that there is more to church than fun. But it should be a sin to bore kids with the gospel. And so my first idea was, hey, download Elevation Kids Worship Tunes. And again, that could be a part of their worship. It can just be in the background as kids are walking into Sunday school. Okay, my next idea was form a worship team made up of teens. Now, here's the thing. Okay, that's similar. So when you're the top 2 brackets are going to duke it out. Well, I don't want that. I don't want similar ideas fighting it out. Okay, my third idea, hire a freelance sports program director to run Kids Town. Well, right above that, I wrote hire a preschool staff to run Kids Town. I don't want those two to compete in the first round. So you alternate on both sides of the brackets, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then on the other side, 9, 16, or 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Okay, so then here's where it gets fun. So you fill out the brackets, again, alternating your ideas top and bottom, and then it's round 1 of the tournament. And these ideas are going to fight to the death, okay? Because we're choosing what we're going to focus on for the next 90 days. And so my ideas 1 and 2 is And again, we're answering the question, in the next 90 days, what can I do to make my children's ministry, and I'm just using that as an example for this video, what can I do to make my children's ministry bigger or better in the next 90 days? So, idea 1, download Elevation YouTube kids worship videos. Idea number 2, hire a freelance sports director to run my children's ministry. Now, what is going to make my children's ministry bigger and or better? Okay, well, I can tell you right now that downloading some children's worship videos might make my children's ministry better. It's not going to make it necessarily bigger, but if I hire a freelance, a Christian, a guy that loves Jesus, freelance sports director that, typically might have Sundays available anyway, he is going to make my children's ministry both bigger and better. And so I'm going to cross off the first idea, and I'm going to promote to the next round sports director. Okay? All right. So I now have a winner between between ideas 1 and 2, and idea number 2 won, and it got promoted to the next round. Then here's my third idea. Create a student store. Kind of think like Dave & Buster's or Chuck E. Cheese, that kids can play games. They get tickets. They take those tickets to the store. They get a stuffed animal or a toy or whatever. So the thinking behind this is, hey, I want my kids to memorize the verse of the week. Okay, so if I'm going to get them to memorize their Bible verse of the week, word for word, and I want them to engage with the scriptures Monday through Saturday, not just on Sunday. Hey, I'm not above incentivizing that kind of activity. Okay, so you get a ticket for memorizing the verse. You get a ticket for bringing your Bible to Sunday school. You get a ticket if you invite a friend. You can incentivize whatever you want. By the way, I'm telling you, that sports director guy, he would be all over this because he likes to keep score anyways, right? So my next idea, student store versus hire a preschool staff. Now, I'm already thinking, okay, it's like, well, okay, no, I don't really want to think about the second round. I got to stay focused on the first round. What is going to make my children's ministry bigger or better? And I'm like, okay, wait a second. If it's about the 10-year-old boy, then the hiring a preschool staff isn't going to help that. So I'm going to actually cross off preschool staff. I'm going to promote to the next round the student store. Okay? The next round, or the next ideas that are duking it out to the death, filling a vending machine full of candy for free versus hiring a new kids director. Remember, I had the same idea in kind of a similar vein a handful of times on the back of this sheet. Can you tell that I think I might need to hire a new kids ministry director? And here's the deal. I'm going to cross off vending machine, and I'm going to promote hire new director. Okay? And then the last round, or the last set of ideas that are duking it out on this side, let's see, have balloon arches, fun, colorful, vibrant. Again, think Disneyland as kids are walking in. Create that sort of wow moment as they walk into Sunday school, or form a worship team made up of students that are part of the youth group. Now, this is great, especially if your church is on the smaller side. you've got some students, maybe you don't really have enough to necessarily start a youth group, but you've got some, and a lot of them can sing, a lot of them, will play piano or guitar or whatever. That could really be a great way to keep your kids, your teens longer. So let's see here. So I'm going to cross off balloon arches, and I'm going to promote teen worship team. Okay. And then now I did not even complete this side. Again, I was kind of in a hurry. I just wanted to use this as an example. So on the other side, I've got clowns greeting kids as they come in and out or subscribe to Orange. And clowns would be fun for sure. But honestly, getting that Orange curriculum is going to make my children's ministry better. So I'm going to promote that. And then the next round, I will, let's see here. We'll cross, I just have it full of question marks. So we'll cross that off. And then let's see here, install video game room or partner with the church plant. Now listen, when I was a youth pastor, we did have a video game room, and that really, really helped. But if you're in a need for staffing, it would be great to maybe collaborate with the church plant. And a lot of these church plants, in order to get funding, have to show that they have a team. What a great way for a church plant to get practice, dress rehearsal before they've launched to the public. And so maybe you come up with a 3-month or a 6-month plan where, hey, I'll let you guys actually get practice doing church in a way that's safe. You can make mistakes and learn from them. But I want your children's person running my Sunday school for the next 3 to 6 months. And in exchange for that, we'll let you also use our space on Sunday nights. And so, and we'll make a trade. So that, I think, would be better than the video game room. And so we're going to promote church plant. Okay. So round 1 is done. Round 1 is done. Now, listen, rounds 2, 3, and 4, man, that's when it really gets tough. This is when ministry leaders duke it out. They fight for their ideas. That don't let that make you nervous, because that just means that they're engaged in the process. So now we're going to go round 2. Hire a freelance sports director to run children's ministry or create a student store. Now, let me tell you, the right children's ministry director will have already thought of the idea to create a student store. I didn't think of that. My children's ministry director did think of that. And so I'm going to cross off student store, and I'm going to promote the sports director idea. Okay. Then the next one, hire a new kids director versus form a teenage worship team. Now, again, the right children's ministry director is going to have these ideas, and they're going to be the one to run with them. So we're going to take teen worship team off the board. We're going to promote hire a new children's ministry director. Okay. On the other side, it's orange curriculum versus a blank spot here. And so we're going to go ahead, so we'll put orange there. Church plant versus question mark. So church plant wins. Okay. And then we've got, we're down to round 3 now. Hire a freelance sports director to run your children's ministry versus hire a new children's ministry director. And so here's, again, if you've got other leaders around the table, when you're going through this process, it's really up to the people around the table. Is it more important to hire a new children's ministry director or specifically hire a freelance sports director to come and run your program on Sundays. And I'm going to go ahead and say it's important for everybody around the table to understand, hey, it's about the 8 to 10-year-old boy. We need to hire a new children's ministry director that understands that, okay? So they don't have to be a sports director. That could be a huge win for you guys. But I'm going to go and cross off sports director. I'm going to promote hire new director, okay? And then here's the thing. That hire new director made it to the final round. Then on the other side, we're going to get orange curriculum versus a trade with a church plant. Now, and again, you could, I will cross off church plant and say, get orange curriculum. And again, I'm just showing you guys how easy this is. And so in the final round, it is hire a new children's ministry director. That could make your children's ministry both bigger and better, versus subscribe to orange for children's ministry curriculum, and that might make your children's ministry better, and that's good enough. But I'm going to now. Here's the thing: if you already have a great children's ministry director, then we're going to cross off hire new director. That would be super awkward if they were in the room, right? And say, hey, you know what? We really need you to be focusing on our volunteers and our kids, not creating curriculum. We're going to outsource the curriculum to Orange. We want you to be focused on the people. In that case, we cross off hire, new director, and we're going to go with Orange for the next 90 days and see how it goes. Okay? If you need a children's ministry director, then it really doesn't matter what kind of curriculum you're using, because you really need a leader in that position. So in this case, I'm going to cross off orange curriculum, and my top idea is to hire a new children's ministry director. Okay? And you put it in the box. And so here's the deal. Okay? Today is January 18th, the time that I'm recording this video. So I'm just going to say 30, 60. So the next section, okay, so remember, we started here, we went to next, then, and we went through this process, and then we're gonna finish with this today here. Almost there. Write out the following statement. We will, and this is, the name of your church, the name of your team, whatever. We will hire a new kids director by, okay, and we're going to, hey, Kevin, we're going to pick a date that's, hi, Lucinda, we're going to pick a date that's 90 days from today, okay? So we've gone through this process, and then write out the statement. We will fill in the blank with your top idea, which in this case was hire a new children's ministry director, and then you pick a date 90 days from today. So today's January 18th, so we're just going to go ahead and say 30, 60, 90. So by April 18th, 2021, okay? Here's the thing. Listen, I don't care who's in the room. Could be your board of elders, could be your committee of deacons, it could be your ministry leaders, your worship director, your small groups, or your Christian education director, whomever's around the table. By writing down this statement, what you all are saying is that for the next 3 months, our top priority as a church is we are going to hire the best children's ministry director we can get our hands on, and we're going to do it in the next 90 days. And so, hey, worship team, okay? I want you to start finding ways to provide support to our children's ministry so we can make sure that their space is ready, that the audio, video, lighting is ready. So when we hire that new children's ministry director, their rooms are ready to go, okay? That is going to be your focus for the next 90 days, in addition to creating worship experiences that the whole family can love. You're going to provide support to our children's ministry for the next 90 days to get them ready. Okay, hey, social media director, guess what? You're going to announce, in conjunction with the people around this room, you're going to announce, hey, church, guess what? We have great news, big announcement. You don't want to miss this. We've decided as a church that we are going to find and hire the best kids ministry director we can get our hands on. We promise to keep you posted. Stay tuned right here on our Instagram and YouTube and Facebook and Clubhouse and whatever. But that's your job for the next 90 days, is to keep this goal in front of our church on social media. Okay, hey, pastor, every sermon, every other sermon, you need to drop at least one sentence to keep this vision in front of the church for the next 90 days. When you say, we will hire a new children's ministry director in the next 90 days, you're saying that the number one thing that we're going to focus on is this. This is what's most important to our church. Okay? And so, hey, we'll go over the rest of your 90-day planner and how I like to use it over the next few days. But I just want to remind you, you can this is a part of your subscription. Go to the Church Playbook Academy right now. Download it. Download 50 copies and just practice with it. Have some fun with it. The other thing that you will find is the one-page planner, and it's the exact same format, but it's dedicated to you personally. So it will help you set the right goals for your family, your health, your friendships, your finances, your job, mental, spiritual, other, all of that good stuff. So, hey, drop your questions, comments, and or concerns in the comments section. I'm going to get off of this video right now because Lord knows I've been on here long enough as it is. But I did want to continue this little video series that we've been doing on how to use the 90-day win planner for your church. And hey, I'm excited for you guys, and we'll see you soon. God bless.